on Venezuela's digital currency, my colleague Rachelle Akuffo spoke with Sean Stein Smith. He's an assistant professor at Lehman College in the City University of New York. They began by talking about why Venezuela launched this digital currency in the midst of hyperinflation.
So there are really a whole host of external factors that are actually driving almost every single country in the world to try to adopt, try to onboard, try to either adopt Bitcoin as their own currency or actually try to build out their own currencies, basically in a hybrid of crypto versus fiat. And so it is faster, cheaper, opens up access to the broader banking system, right, to individuals who are currently unbanked. So it honestly is actually not a surprise that almost every individual country out there is actually taking action in this area as we speak.
And speaking about different kinds of action, we did see that El Salvador adopted Bitcoin as legal tender last month. How is this different from what El Salvador is doing?
So the underlying purpose of these two projects is one different, right? Bitcoin being adopted as a real currency alternative is honestly the first time that a country has authorized Bitcoin to be used in that manner, which also harkens back to the original idea of it in the first place. Whereas other projects, basically other countries trying to either build out their own crypto or trying to merge crypto with their own currencies is more trying to basically gain control and the upsides over that blockchain-based application, as opposed to authorizing Bitcoin to be used by itself.
Now, this is actually the second monetary reconversion in 3 years for Venezuela. Do we know how far this goes to perhaps solving some of these underlying problems that led to all this hyperinflation in the first place?
Probably the underlying causes of the inflation and other economic pain aren't going to be fixed by a crypto project, but it is, I would say, a encouraging sign of some other policy-oriented people hopefully having more control and influence over economic policy going forward, as opposed to just politics driving it.
And of course, implementation is everything. So in terms of the rollout and how it's being received by Venezuelans, what are we hearing so far?
So as of right now, it's a pretty mixed bag, as is almost always the actual case, right? Anytime that there's a change of this kind in the currency payment rails of a country, there is always going to be pushback, right? Because on the one hand, there are upsides and opportunities to it, but on the other hand, there are more tangible, concrete problems that could be addressed first. So it's a mixed bag. I would say personally that it's a indication in the correct way going forward, but there's always going to be some, let's say, pushback on any large-scale changes of this kind.
And speaking of challenges, then, what were some of the challenges that come with this?
So probably the top challenges that I've seen, heard about, talked about personally is one, how to get it to interoperate, right? Meaning it can be Bitcoin or some other hybrid tool out there. How does it interoperate with other IT systems, payment systems, phones, all the rest? And because in order to be used as a real currency alternative, it has to work every single time. And then two, how do you introduce basically a whole new form of currency and not trigger other unintended economic actions, right? The inflation, price hikes, all the rest. And then the other one here is the main issue is how do we keep this actually safe, right? From a hacking point of view, theft point of view, and overall IT point of view, how do we keep all of these transactions, currencies actually safe going forward?
And that certainly could be important when it comes to remittances. Do we know what sort of impact this digital currency will have on that?
So the main push for Bitcoin and other crypto assets right now is to be used to help with those payments being sent back home, right? And in a few of the countries that have onboarded either Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, payments of that kind can account for almost a quarter of their overall economic activity. And so payments made via blockchain-based transactions, be it Bitcoin or other options out there, are faster and cheaper, and then also allow more individuals to have access to those payments than are otherwise able to right now.
So then what do you think is the likelihood that we're going to see more countries either coming out with their own sort of digital currency or really adopting more cryptocurrencies?
I would say 100% guaranteed that almost every single country out there in the world, from the US to other nations, will either adopt Bitcoin or some other form of actual crypto, or we'll try to build out a hybrid model. Crypto dollar, crypto yuan is already out there, actually. So it's a guarantee, I think.
Anything you're watching for in this space going forward?
I would say really that the core question here is not who is first out there trying to roll out their mainstream crypto tool. It's who's the first country to have their crypto tool used outside of the actual country, right? To be used for international payments, trades, all the rest. And then that country, that tool is the one I believe that has the most upside going forward.